Neuropathy warning. Stop eating this immediately. There's something I hear almost every week in my clinic. Doctor, it's just a little tingling. It's probably age, right? But the moment the patient lifts their eyes to meet mine, I can see the truth behind the question. Confusion, worry, and that quiet fear that maybe their body is beginning to slip out of their control. And if you've been feeling that same tingling, burning, or numbness in your hands or feet, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe it starts at night, that uncomfortable crawling sensation in your toes, that burning heat in your soles, or that strange numbness that makes you double-check if your foot is even touching the floor. Maybe during the day you feel tiny shocks or a heaviness that makes every step feel unfamiliar. And the worst part? No one else can feel what you feel? So you start to wonder if it's just part of getting older. But let me tell you something from years of treating patients just like you. Age is not the culprit, not by itself. What you're feeling is your nervous system trying to speak to you, sending signals that something deeper is happening beneath the surface. And those sensations are not random. They are not meaningless. They are certainly not something you should ignore. In fact, behind that tingling or burning may be silent saboteurs you encounter every single day. In your medicine cabinet, in your kitchen, and even in your routine. And unless you understand what they are and how they work, the symptoms in your hands or feet may gradually steal mobility, balance, independence, and joy from your life. So stay with me, because in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what's attacking your nerves, how to stop it, and what you can start doing today to protect your body from long-term damage. If this resonates with you already, then you're in the right place. Understanding the root of the problem. Before we talk about solutions, I want you to truly understand what you're trying to protect. Because once you see how your nervous system works, every change you make will feel intentional instead of overwhelming. I often ask my patients to picture their body as a massive, beautifully engineered city. Your brain is the main power plant, constantly sending out electrical signals, but that power means nothing unless it travels through a reliable network of wiring. That wiring is your nervous system. Millions of delicate nerve fibers running from your head to your toes, carrying commands to your muscles, sensations from your skin, and automatic messages that keep your heart beating, your lungs breathing, and your organs functioning without you even noticing. What most people don't realize is that these nerves aren't exposed. They're wrapped in a protective coat called myelin, a fatty insulation that keeps electrical signals fast, smooth, and accurate. When that insulation weakens or the nerve itself becomes damaged, everything changes. Signals slow down, get distorted, or fail to arrive altogether. That's when the body begins sending warning signs: tingling, burning, stabbing pain, numbness, weakness, loss of balance, or even changes in memory and focus. It's a lot like a frayed electrical wire hidden inside a wall. Lights flicker, appliances act strangely, and the system tries to tell you something is wrong. Your nerves are doing exactly the same thing when they produce those strange sensations. And neuropathy doesn't just affect comfort, it affects independence. It can turn stairs into a risk, make walking feel unstable, disrupt sleep, and slowly chip away at the confidence you have in your own body. But the hopeful part is this: neuropathy is rarely random, and it is not simply old age. Most of the time it's caused by specific stressors, toxins, medications, or habits that erode your nerve insulation little by little. Once you understand what's attacking your nerves, you regain power over your health. And with that foundation, we can finally expose the first major saboteur hiding in plain sight: the medications sitting in your own home. 1. The first big saboteur: medicines in your cabinet. When most people open their medicine cabinet, they see bottles that represent comfort, relief, and safety. And to be fair, many of these medications were prescribed with good intentions. They help manage chronic conditions, ease pain, soften anxiety, and support sleep. But here's the truth that many adults never hear. As we age, the very medications meant to help us can quietly begin to harm our nerves. Our liver and kidneys, the body's natural filters, slow down over time, which means drugs stay longer in the bloodstream, accumulate more easily, and can produce stronger, more toxic effects on the nervous system. A dose that felt perfectly safe at 50 can become risky at 70 without you ever realizing it. Some of the most common culprits are gabapentinoids, like gabapentin and pregabalin. They're often prescribed for nerve pain, and while they can help in the short term, long-term use, especially in older adults, has been linked to dizziness, balance issues, memory problems, and cognitive fog. Then we have benzodiazepines and sleep medications, the little pills people take to calm their nerves or help them fall asleep. Drugs like lorazepam, alprazolam, diazepam, or zolpidem may bring temporary peace, but they work by slowing the entire nervous system, not just anxiety. Over time, they can dull memory, reduce concentration, impair balance, and dramatically increase the risk of falls, one of the biggest threats to independence in older adults. And the most concerning part is that these medications can build dependency. People often feel like stopping them makes their symptoms worse, when in reality, it's the withdrawal creating that illusion. Other medications, like older antidepressants and first-generation antihistamines, carry strong anticholinergic effects that interfere with memory and learning pathways in the brain. These drugs are common in allergy syrups, cold medicines, and chronic pain treatments, yet long-term use has been linked to confusion, disorientation, and even a higher risk of dementia. Even certain antibiotics, heart medications, and chemotherapy agents have well-documented neurotoxic effects that can damage peripheral nerves if used for extended periods. None of this means you should panic or throw away your medications. That can be extremely dangerous. What it does mean is that you should become the manager of your own health, someone who understands that every pill has two sides, the benefit and the cost. Your first step is to review your entire medication list with your doctor, including prescriptions, over-the-counter pills, and supplements. Ask whether each one is still necessary, whether the dose can be lowered, or whether there's a safer alternative. A thoughtful medication audit can protect your nerves more than most people ever realize. And once you understand how the wrong medicines can slowly chip away at your nervous system, you can begin to look at the second major saboteur, the habits woven into your everyday life. 2. Your daily habits, the enemies you invite to the table. After years of treating patients with nerve problems, I've learned something important. The most dangerous threats to your nervous system aren't always dramatic or obvious. Sometimes they're woven into your daily routine, hidden inside the foods you choose, the drinks you enjoy, and the long hours you spend sitting without realizing how much strain that places on your body. These habits slip into your life quietly, so familiar that you stop questioning them, but they can be just as damaging to your nerves as any medication in your cabinet. One of the biggest offenders is excess sugar. Most people underestimate just how corrosive sugar can be to nerves. When your blood sugar stays high for long periods, whether you're diabetic or simply eating a diet full of refined carbs, pastries, white bread, and sweetened drinks, your nerves bathe in a thick, sticky bloodstream that slowly suffocates them. This process, called glycation, damages the protective myelin coating that keeps your nerve signals strong and stable. The first signs often appear in the feet: tingling, numbness, burning sensations, and reduced sensitivity. Over time, the damage creeps upward, affecting balance, coordination, and even the hands. It's a slow, almost invisible burn that many people never recognize until it becomes difficult to reverse. Then there's alcohol, a toxin we often treat as a harmless part of social life. I'm not here to judge anyone's habits, but medically speaking, alcohol is undeniably hard on the nervous system. It weakens nerve membranes, disrupts communication between nerve cells, and drains the body of essential nutrients, especially vitamin B1, which nerves depend on to function. Over months or years, Even regular moderate drinking can contribute to nerve pain, muscle weakness, memory issues, and a smaller brain volume on MRI scans. And while a glass of wine may feel relaxing, chronic use slowly chips away at the very system that keeps you balanced, coordinated, and mentally sharp. Nutrient deficiencies are another silent enemy. Your nerves cannot repair or protect themselves without B vitamins, particularly B12, B1, B6, and folate, as well as minerals like magnesium. But today's diets, often filled with processed foods, provide calories without nourishment. As levels of these vitamins drop, the myelin sheath thins, nerve signals falter, and symptoms that look like aging begin to appear. Instability, fatigue, forgetfulness, and poor sensation in the feet or hands. In many cases, when patients come to me believing their nerves are just getting old, it's actually a deficiency that has been ignored for years. And finally, we need to talk about movement, or the lack of it. The human body was designed to stay in motion. Movement sends fresh blood, oxygen, and nutrients to the most distant nerve endings. When you spend long hours sitting, your circulation slows and your nerves are left hungry. Without consistent movement, nerves begin to atrophy not from disease, but from neglect. Gentle daily activity doesn't just strengthen muscles, it nourishes the nervous system, stimulates healing, and reduces inflammation. Even a simple 30-minute walk can spark measurable changes in how your nerves function. When you see how sugar, alcohol, nutrient deficiencies, and inactivity quietly work together, it becomes clear that your daily habits can either feed your nerves or wear them down. And once you understand the impact of these everyday choices, you're better prepared to face the next set of hidden threats, the environmental toxins around you that affect your nerves without you even realizing it. 3. Invisible environmental toxins. The third major saboteur of your nervous system is one most people never even think about, because it doesn't come in a pill bottle or on a dinner plate. It comes from the world around you, the air you breathe, the water you drink, the cookware you use, and even the soil beneath your feet. Over a lifetime, the body quietly absorbs tiny amounts of heavy metals and environmental toxins, and while each exposure on its own may seem harmless, the real danger lies in the slow accumulation. By the time someone reaches their 60s or 70s, these toxins may have been building up for decades, settling into tissues like the brain and peripheral nerves, and creating a level of stress that the body can no longer ignore. Take lead, for example. We think of it as a problem of the past, but the truth is that lead remains hidden in older homes, old paint, aging water pipes, and sometimes even the soil in older neighborhoods. Even low levels of chronic lead exposure can harm the nervous system, causing memory issues, cognitive decline, and peripheral nerve damage. Then there's mercury, a toxin that often enters the body through seafood. Larger fish like tuna, swordfish, and shark carry high concentrations, and when mercury builds up, it can interfere with coordination, balance, and nerve function. Many people eat these fish regularly without realizing that the healthy protein on their plate may be working against their nervous system. Another element under scrutiny is aluminum. While research continues, we already know that aluminum can generate oxidative stress in the nervous system, the kind of microscopic damage that slowly wears down nerve cells. It's found in cookware, foil, some antacids, and certain deodorants. The point isn't to create fear, but awareness. Even small repeated exposures can matter over time. And lastly, there's arsenic, a toxin that can quietly seep into well water or be present in foods like rice. Long-term exposure is known to cause a painful form of neuropathy that often goes misdiagnosed because patients and doctors don't think to consider environmental sources. The real challenge with environmental toxins is that they don't scream for attention. They whisper, they accumulate slowly, blend into everyday life, and create harm that is often blamed on aging or genetics. But once you understand how these hidden toxins operate, you realize that the environment you live in can either support your nervous system or strain it. The good news is that with the right steps, filtering your water, choosing safer cookware, limiting large predatory fish, and being mindful of household products, you can dramatically reduce your toxic load. And now that you see how these invisible threats have been working around you, it's time to listen to your body and learn how to recognize the signals your nerves send when they're under attack. 4. The symptom map: how to spot warning signs. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that nerve damage happens quietly, suddenly, or without any warning at all. But the truth is, your body is incredibly intelligent, and it rarely suffers in silence. When your nervous system is under strain, it sends out distress signals long before the damage becomes severe. The problem is that most people dismiss those signals as just getting older. That's why learning to recognize these early signs is so important. It gives you the chance to intervene before those small whispers turn into symptoms that control your daily life. The first signs usually appear in the hands and feet, because the nerves there are the longest and most vulnerable. You might feel tingling, tiny pinpricks, or that strange sensation of wearing an invisible glove or sock. For some, it feels like walking on cotton, or as if the ground isn't quite solid beneath their feet. As the nerves struggle, you may notice burning sensations, a deep, fiery discomfort that flares at night when you're trying to rest. Others describe sharp electric shocks that travel through the toes or fingers without warning. These symptoms aren't random. They're the body's way of telling you that nerve signals are starting to short-circuit. As the damage progresses, weakness can appear. Maybe your legs feel heavy when climbing stairs, or rising from a chair feels harder than it used to. This happens because the nerves that control your muscles are losing their ability to fire properly. Balance can also start to decline. You might find yourself watching your feet more closely or feeling unsure on uneven ground, because the nerves responsible for telling your brain where your body is in space aren't communicating well anymore. When this happens, the risk of falls goes up significantly, especially in older adults. But neuropathy doesn't stop at the limbs. When the nervous system is overwhelmed, it can spill into mental and emotional symptoms as well. Many people experience brain fog, slower thinking, trouble finding words, or moments of forgetfulness that feel unsettling. These cognitive shifts often get blamed on aging, but they can be signs that the nervous system, including the brain, is under toxic stress. Mood changes such as irritability, anxiety, or low motivation can also accompany nerve dysfunction, as the brain struggles to maintain balance amid constant inflammation or chemical disruption. Sleep becomes another casualty. Burning sensations or nerve discomfort make it hard to fall asleep or stay asleep, creating a cycle of fatigue that wears down the body even further. If you recognize several of these symptoms, don't brush them aside or wait for them to disappear. These signs are your body's early alarm system, urging you to take action while the damage is still manageable. The good news is that by understanding what these symptoms really mean, you can begin to address the underlying causes, protect your nerves, and restore control over your health. And now that you know how to decode the messages your body is sending, it's time to move into the most important part, the rescue plan that can help rebuild, protect, and strengthen your nervous system before the damage becomes permanent. The rescue plan. How to protect and nourish your nerves. Hearing about everything that can harm your nerves may feel overwhelming, but I want you to know something very clearly. You have far more control than you think. The body is incredibly resilient, and your nervous system can recover when you remove the stressors and give it the support it has been missing. The rescue plan isn't about dramatic overnight fixes. It's about simple, powerful shifts that work together to restore balance, reduce inflammation, and rebuild the protective layers around your nerves. The first step is taking a close look at your medications. Don't stop anything suddenly. That can be dangerous. But sit down with your doctor and review every prescription, over-the-counter pill, supplement, and sleep aid you take. Ask whether each one is still necessary, whether the dose is right for your age, and whether safer alternatives exist. Even small adjustments can dramatically reduce your risk of nerve toxicity and cognitive decline. The second step is rebuilding your nutrition from the inside out. Your nerves can't repair themselves without the right fuel, so shifting to a nerve-supportive diet makes a huge difference. Cutting back on sugars and refined flours reduces inflammation and protects your nerve coating from glycation damage. Filling your meals with leafy greens, healthy fats like avocado and olive oil, quality proteins, nuts, seeds, berries, and small cold water fish provides essential B vitamins, antioxidants, and minerals like magnesium that keep nerves firing properly. For many older adults, supplementing with B12 or a high-quality B complex can be life-changing, especially if absorption has declined with age. When nourishment improves, energy rises, mental clarity sharpens, and nerve signals begin to stabilize. Movement is the third pillar of nerve repair, and it's more powerful than people realize. You don't need intense workouts. You just need consistency. A simple 20 to 30-minute walk each day pumps fresh blood to your nerve endings, reduces inflammation, strengthens your balance, and helps regrow the nerve pathways that have been underused. Gentle practices like Tai Chi or yoga calm the nervous system and improve coordination, while swimming or water exercises remove pressure from joints and allow the body to move freely again. Motion is medicine, and every step you take tells your nerves, stay alive, stay active, stay strong. The final step is lowering your exposure to toxins at home. You don't have to live in fear, you just have to be mindful. Filtering your water can reduce metals like lead or arsenic. Switching from scratched nonstick pans to stainless steel, cast iron, or glass removes sources of harmful chemicals. Choosing smaller fish instead of large predatory ones lowers mercury intake. Even simple habits like opening your windows, choosing cleaner personal care products, and avoiding unnecessary chemicals give your nervous system room to breathe. When these four pillars, medication awareness, nutrition, movement, and toxin reduction, come together, they build a powerful shield that protects your nerves and allows them to function the way they were designed to. And that brings us to the heart of this message, understanding that your future is not shaped by age alone. It's shaped by the choices you make today. After working with countless patients over the years, I've learned that the most life-changing moment isn't when someone receives a diagnosis. It's when they realize they're not powerless. Your nervous system isn't doomed to decline just because you're getting older. What often feels like aging is actually the result of silent saboteurs you now know how to identify. Medications that accumulate over time, habits that slowly damage nerve fibers, and environmental toxins that quietly build up in the body. Once these factors are exposed, everything changes. You gain clarity, you gain direction, and most importantly, you gain the ability to take action. Healing your nerves isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Every time you nourish your body with the right foods, take a walk instead of sitting still, choose a safer product for your home, or talk openly with your doctor about your medications, you take one more step away from pain, weakness, and imbalance, and one step closer to strength, stability, and independence. It doesn't matter where you are starting from. What matters is that you start today. Your body has a remarkable ability to repair, rebuild, and adapt when you give it what it needs. And whether your nerves are whispering for help or already shouting, you now have the knowledge to change your path. So as we close this journey together, remember this. Your future is not written by your age, your diagnosis, or your circumstances. Your future is written by your choices, your awareness, and your willingness to protect the one system that keeps you connected to every sensation, every memory, every movement, and every moment. You are not powerless. You are not too late. And your best years can still be ahead of you, healthier, stronger, and more vibrant than you imagined. Where are you watching from? Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this video opened your eyes or helped you understand your symptoms in a new way, don't keep this information to yourself. Someone you care about may be dealing with the same tingling, burning, balance issues, or fatigue, and sharing this could give them the clarity and hope they've been searching for. Your small action might be the turning point in someone else's health journey. And if you're ready to take control of your nerve health, I'm here with you every step of the way. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the tools, explanations, and guidance I'll be sharing. Every week, we explore ways to strengthen your body, sharpen your mind, and protect the systems that keep you moving, thinking, and living with confidence. Before you go, I want to hear from you. Truly, your story and your location help me understand who I'm reaching and how I can support you better. So, let me know in the comments. Where are you watching from?